If you're having the problem I just described, consider getting rid of that guy. Howdy folks, John with HillCo here, coming to talk to you about some exciting new honey storage and bottling tanks. We call these our Maxx series honey tanks. They feature the same sloping bottom as our fantastic Maxx series honey extractors do, and I'll show you that here in just a minute. But we have a 9-gallon and an 18-gallon model, and the first thing you'll probably notice is these tanks are very tall. And the reason for that is because, come on in here and look, we have built-in honey strainers. I shouldn't say built-in, they just sit on top, but same difference. But anyway, they are included in the price. So you have a coarse strainer, a real nice deep strainer here, a coarse strainer that takes out the biggest chunks of wax and dead bees and such in your honey. And then you have your fine strainer. It runs about 600 micron, nice and fine straining, which is what most beekeepers use for straining their honey out. It gets it plenty clean for bottling. Really nice stuff. Again, high quality stainless steel, high capacity strainers here. And so the reason that we include these strainers is because it helps to remove a common bottleneck that a lot of beekeepers face. And if you're watching this video, you've probably experienced it too if you've ever extracted honey before. But most beekeepers, most of us, have at least started out with a setup like this. So you have underneath your honey extractor, you set your 5-gallon bucket with this traditional old school double strainer here, which works really good. It works really good. It's simple. You know, it goes underneath your extractor. You're extracting directly through the strainer into your bucket. By the time the honey goes through that strainer into your bucket, your honey is filtered out and ready to bottle from, right? The problem becomes, and again, many of you can relate to this, the problem is that this strainer is very small, and typically your honey has, as it comes out of the extractor, your honey has bits of wax, chunks of dead bees, things like that in your honey, and so it's plugging up this strainer prematurely, and so you still have honey spinning out of your extractor, your honey's coming out, you still have plenty of room in the bucket, but there's honey coming out of the extractor, but this strainer gets plugged up and fills up, and all of a sudden you're kind of at a standstill. You're trying to shut the gate in the extractor, you're having to stop extracting, you might be sliding this bucket out of the way and slide another bucket underneath it, and can really be a bottleneck and an issue, and again, most of you have probably experienced that. So something that I've been advocating for, and I've been doing myself in the last couple of years, is if this is a bottleneck issue for you, if you're having the problem I just described, consider getting rid of that guy, okay? Maybe don't throw it, okay? Keep it for next time because there may be a place for that strainer, but in many cases you may want to just consider getting rid of that traditional old strainer and just extracting directly into your 5-gallon bucket. So you're just you're dumping unfiltered honey from your extractor directly into your bucket, and then what you do as you fill those buckets, you put the lid on, you set them aside overnight. Maybe it might take a couple days depending on how thick the honey is, how much solid you have in there, temperature, a lot of variables, but leave it sit for a day or two with the lid on, and a lot of those particles, those bits of wax, those dead bees, all those particulate matter that you're wanting to get out of your honey, a lot of that will rise to the top. And then you can come back that day or two later, take the lid off, and kind of ladle off or strain off most of that, the worst of that off the top. It's all right there for you to take off, and then voila, you have honey that is partly already cleaned up. You know, the worst of it's already out of there, and then you can just dump it right through here, through your nice big strainers, and by the time the honey gets to those strainers, into your storage tank or your bottling tank, whatever you're using this for, that honey is ready to bottle. Oops, that lid goes over here. Anyway, so that is why we include these fantastic strainers with these tanks. Again, the 9-gallon, the 18-gallon, both come standard with both of these strainers. It can really revolutionize your honey extracting if you are having that bottleneck issue. Again, filter it later. That's the motto. Filter it later. You don't have to filter it as soon as it comes out of the extractor. So, back to these tanks. Top quality, type 304, food grade, 21 gauge stainless steel. The best in the industry, great construction, great quality, beautiful tanks you can be proud of in your honey house or in your kitchen, wherever you have this tank on display. They're gonna look good for you. Zoom on in here, as we mentioned, it has the Maxx series feature of the sloping tank. So the back of the tank is higher than the front. So that tank slopes towards the front, towards your honey gate. As you can see, it's also, sorry, zoom back in here. As you can see, it's also coned in the center there. So it helps the honey flow towards the outside of the tank, and then that slope from the back to front flows it right towards the honey gate. You see a trough in there. So the honey gate is mounted below the surface, the floor of the tank, and a nice welded stainless steel gate, no obstruction in your tank. It just flows right out to your gate, no mess, no fuss, just the way it should be. I love these stainless steel honey gates. A welded stainless steel gate really, really works slick. It just opens and closes nice, a clean shut off. It is a kind of a traditional old school honey gate. Our dripless valves that we offer, which we're going to be offering soon as an option for these tanks, by the way. Those dripless valves are better, but this, I would encourage you to give this valve a try, this standard honey gate a try. The stainless steel version really works slick. And zoom in here one more time. I want to show you this nice big white gasket here is really slick. It just opens and closes very smoothly. A lot of stainless steel honey gates, including some of the ones we've had in the past, they just have a simple O-ring in here, a round O-ring, and what that does is when this metal edge here goes past it multiple times, it'll tend to start catching that O-ring and forcing the O-ring out of its slot. So this nice full-faced seal here prevents that from happening. Really works good. You got adjustment here. This really works great on the bottling applications. You can adjust that tighter or looser so you can open and close it smoothly with minimal spillage and stuff. And we have great, nice latches here. These latches do not work when you have both strainers on because of the clearance. They're not long enough, but we have three nice latches on each lid that holds the lid down, nice and secure seal. And then a nice sturdy handle as well. Two nice sturdy handles on each tank. That I wouldn't recommend you use these handles to try and carry it when the tank's full, but it is awful handy when the tank's empty or for cleaning or if the tank's partly full to move these tanks around. So 3-year warranty, excellent warranty, great price point. You will love these tanks. Check them out on our website, www.hillco.buzz. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.